Hello Otaku Fujoshi Anime Curious, my name is RandomSama613 and welcome to Anime Opinions. This week I'm reviewing a show I was asked to review, I think it was a month and a half ago or so, by YouTube user Blue Comet, and that is Ga-Rei Zero. Now Ga-Rei Zero is a 2008 supernatural action sort of sci-fi fantasy anime done by AIC. AIC's done a variety of shows ranging from Bastard to Tenchi, to most of the Tenchi franchise, to Oraimo and Haganai more recently. So they've done a lot of stuff primarily of the harem variety, but they've still done some really well-received series. Ga-Rei Zero follows the main character Kagura and the other main character Yomi, and the show is about how the interaction between those two as they grow up, because they grow up as exorcists who fight demons in Japan, in primarily modern day Japan. Kagura comes from a long line of exorcist families who control a mystical beast known as Ga-Rei Byakuya, and she's being trained to be the successor to that family. Yomi is the adopted daughter of a different exorcist family, and they work for the Ministry of the Environment, and they exorcise demons via the government, basically. And like I said, the entire show centers around the interaction between Yomi and Kagura. Now, this show is a prequel to the manga The Mystical Beast Ga-Rei, so I have to look at it a little bit differently. I haven't read the manga, so I don't have a great deal of perspective on this, and I don't know how good the manga is and stuff like that. But just starting off, Yomi and Kagura are very well fleshed out. They interact really well, because most of the series, like I said, is based around their interaction. They are the primary characters, and their interaction is the primary focus of the show. The side characters, on the other hand, are a little bit one-dimensional. You don't really get a lot of background on them, other than, like, Yomi's fiancé. You get a little more information on him because he is integral to the plot. So you get some more background on him, you get a little more background on Kagura's family, you get more background on Yomi's family because she is adopted, so there's the other half of the family, and there's the interaction between them. So is that the actual interactions and basically the politics of the show are very interesting and very intricate, which is a great backdrop for it. The opening and ending and the soundtrack itself are actually pretty good, which is another, mark in its corner, which it needs, because overall I'd say this series is mediocre. It's watchable and it has its moments, but I'd say it's not the best anime I've seen. It pulls a Tarantino early on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it starts at the end. And the first two episodes, it throws you in. First episode doesn't tell you what's going on, just tosses you straight in. In the first couple episodes, there's no OP. There's basically no ending, and they don't tell you what's going on. And then episode 3, they go backwards and tell you how we got here, how we got to the point we're at. So that's the difference there. So it picks up right around episode 8 because it's fairly slow before that. I'd say that it's not as engaging until episode 8 when they start doing some of the more twisty-turny stuff, when we start to get full circle back to the first 2 episodes and it catches up to itself. So definitely takes some time to heat up. The animation, while it grew on me and got to the point that I actually started to enjoy it, overall I'd say it's not the greatest animation I've ever seen. It's not awful, it certainly isn't it's not unwatchable, it's just not the greatest animation I've ever seen. The CG is awful, but again, it's a 5 or 6-year-old anime. I can kind of forgive bad CG. I'd say one of the other biggest issues that this anime has is that I would nickname it Daddy Issues the Anime, because a large section of the backdrop is that Yomi is trying to live up to her father's expectations of her, because she was adopted and she's going to be the new head of the family. So she's trying to live up to her adopted father's expectation and the family's expectations, and she keeps quote-unquote failing even though she isn't. On the other hand, Kagura is trying to live up to her father's expectations and keeps failing because her father's expectations are so high. So she just wants to impress her father, and it's the biggest backdrop, and it's a huge plot point, and I didn't like that particular portion of it. So I would definitely call this Daddy Issues the Anime. And for a good chunk of it, it does kind of change it a little bit and becomes more of a Family Issues the Anime, but it was a driving force behind the plot, and I can see how it was necessary, but it definitely detracted for a good section of the anime. As I said, the start, it's slow, it's confusing because it just tosses you in. The first 2 episodes start at the end, and it gets really confusing. So that's kind of a detractor for me as well. Near the end, well, near the middle actually, when they catch up to the first 2 episodes, so closer to the end, they basically pull a Berserk If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, they do what happens near the end of the Golden Age arc in Berserk with Griffith. I won't say any more than that because that's major spoilers, but they do it badly because it's really telegraphed and you know what's going to happen. So that was definitely a detractor for me because I saw it coming. Beyond that, you know, it's a watchable anime. I can't really say I'd recommend it. It's definitely decent anime. It's not completely unwatchable. I just wasn't overly impressed with it. I definitely, like I said, picked up in the back half. But overall, I'd say it's not really worth the time. There are better 12-episode supernatural sword-fighting anime overall. But what do you guys think of Ga-Rei Zero? I don't know how many of you have watched it. Go ahead and leave something down below if you thought I was a little bit off on this, because it seems like I'm in the minority. Most people actually rather like this series, and I just don't. Go ahead and throw a like down there if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Either way, it gives me feedback. If you do leave me a dislike, like I said, I think in my last video or so ago, go ahead and leave a comment saying why you didn't like the video, and just kind of, you know, give me some constructive feedback. I really like to hear what I'm doing wrong, and it's really, really helpful. But until next time, I've been RandomSama613. This has been Anime Opinions, and until then, watch more anime. This episode brought to you by Diet Mountain Dew, because I was not paid to say that.